All right, we're back. Welcome back. Today we're working on a 1968 C-10 in bright white. This is a buddy of mine's truck, Tom, and we hadn't decided. He hasn't decided what he's going to do for paint and color on this truck, and finally decided to go with the white. The truck was originally that teal seafoam color, so he wants to go with kind of the patina look of this. It's got some dents and scratches and dings, kind of that like my truck, the 1971 C-10 in Spanish gold. Well, that truck has been repainted. Most all these have. In the 70s and 80s, they repainted everything. Earl Scheib was around back then. So we're going to leave that paint, just buff it up, kind of work with what's going on. We've got some rust repair to do. I'll show you that in a minute. But we'll patch paint it and, I don't know, kind of go with the soft patina look. Nothing too harsh. Right now, we're waiting on an oil pan for this. Uh, and the radiator. This is way too big. Well, he wanted to get a radiator that had the fans that worked with the LS, so we're waiting on that. We've got some other parts: air conditioner bracket with the tensioner. Excuse me. So we can get that mounted up under here. That's kind of a tight area to get to, and now is a perfect time to do it. That is a used compressor, but I got it plugged off. It seems really clean. Everything works well. We're going to give it a try. We've got the body panels in. You've seen the fenders. There's a brand new one over there. It's black, so we'll have to deal with that. And the core support, I kind of want to sit on here today if we have time. So what I got going on now is the grill. It looked good. Get your on there. So the grill looked exceptionally good. It really did. For the look we're going for. I guess I should say that. Let me flip it up here and kind of show you. So it's a white grill, but the inserts, they're white as well right now. Maybe even a primered white. I can't tell. But this rust behind it was bleeding through. And he might get this truck wrapped. His son does a lot of wrapping, so they might do that in the future. And it's going to be impossible to keep this rust from bleeding through here. We don't want it rusting out. Again, a little patina is nice, but the back of this was just solid rust when I took it apart. So I took the inserts out. I've taken out the hood latch. We're going to clean that up real good because when you open the hood, this is one. Excuse me. Yeah, I had it right, didn't I? It doesn't matter. It's one of the first things you see when you open the hood. Get that painted up nice. The support bracket, we might as well just clean that up and paint that black again. We're going to black the back of this completely. You won't see it, but we want to protect it. The idea is we don't want it rusting further. I talk a lot about rust and how we want to minimize that as much as possible. This is just one coat of primer on here right now. The bottom of this is metal. And there's a pan over here I'll show you in the center in a second. It goes in here. And it connects this front grill to the core support. And that's all metal. So right here you have metal on metal. You're going to hear me talk a lot about that metal on metal thing. I don't like it. You get moisture between them. You get rust jacking. It traps moisture for further rust. I try to avoid it as much as possible. But that's how GM made all these. Metal on metal. You overlap steel. I want to say that a bunch too, because you're going to hear that in the future. Overlapping steel. Well, this overlapping steel doesn't have a protecting barrier between it. I don't like that. If you're going to lap two pieces of metal together, it needs to have a barrier to keep the two from wicking in moisture and rusting. I like things like rubber. You put like inner tube between them. You can paint them, but that's if you get a scratch or something while you're working on it, that can rust. I do like that tar that dries really good, but still has it's tar, still has a little bit of movement to it. So when you smash two pieces together, you get that tar smashed between there. That's my favorite, probably what we'll do on this. This does have some bent areas here. This would be the top in the truck. And I think somebody, it looks like maybe doing an engine swap or something. They set it down here and it's got a little bend in there. So we'll get the hammer and dolly that's sitting there and I'll hammer that all out, get it flattened out good. We'll figure out how we're going to paint this and make it look right and protect it. That's probably the biggest main goal here. Let me take you around and show you some of the other parts. The bottom valance, we'll call it, to this truck is this rusty piece straight in front of you there. This piece goes on the bottom of that and bolts. Well, it bolts right here, but you can see how it's been sandwiching their stuff in there. So that bolts to this. I'll just show you. Bolts to this core support, and you can see just how nasty it's gotten. So I'm going to clean that up maybe today as well. It needs a hammer and dolly on there to kind of straighten this edge up on the bottom. Get some rust started, so we've got to get that wire wheel cleaned up. And there's enough rust here. I'll probably use a rust converter on that. You don't see me use that a lot, but if I can't get it as clean as I want, I will use a rust converter on some of this really rusty stuff. A lot of water sets in here and gets trapped on this, so we want to coat that the best we can. Probably that undercoating rubber I like. The next thing I want to cover would be the headlight bezels. These are in good shape. I assume they're originals. You can see they're kind of rusty around these edges. Not the look I think he's going for. These were new. I think they were that gray silver paint. They weren't a chrome. They were silver paint like these inserts. So I'll probably clean those up and paint them. They look like they've been brush painted too. So don't really want that. The grill inserts, you can see just how rusty those are. I mean, there is just a ton of rust. These clips that are inside of these, I mean, there's not much to them. They got like a little spring that holds them in there. I think I only got 6 or 7 out of the whole 23, 24, whatever we used. So we'll have to get a set of those, but we don't want this. I mean, you can see how rusty it is in there. At least I hope you can. Very crusty and bumpy rust inside these grooves. So not sure the best thing to make them last as long as it possibly can. I'm thinking just clean them real good and paint them. Although you could put some caulk in there, some silicone to really keep the water out. But you got these screws you have to be able to move around and use. I don't know. I'll think about it. Probably just paint them. It's not the end of the world. They sell new ones, so we don't have to sweat that. But I do want to get them cleaned up best I can. So where do we start? I don't know. Let's look at the white fender real quick. This is the fender that came on it, or came with it. I don't know if it was even on it when he got it. But it's an original fender. And you can see the lights broke on it over here. And this emblem's faded real bad, which might be kind of cool with a patina truck rather than making it bright and shiny. I'll leave that up to him. I'm not going to paint anything to look at it. Speaking of which, I wanted to see, I mean, this is barn dust here. We probably won't leave that on there. No, we won't leave it on there. But this is original color, that sea foamish. And I'm curious what we find behind that emblem. Maybe they took it off. Maybe they didn't. The way it's painted, it appears that it's been removed. But I'm hoping to find some paint. And what I mean is, I want to know if they primed it, or if they painted it, or if they stripped it all the way down or not. Oh, I got 2 of those. How many are in that? Probably 4. There is 4. There's some rust back here. I'll show you too in just a second. But I'd like to know if that teal is under there, or did they really sand her down and get it off? If the teal's under there, we can play some blending games with the paint. And the reason I say that is because it has chips and it has all kinds of marks on it. And the clear coat, I don't know how well you can see, but the clear coat right there is just falling right off of it. So I'm not too sure if we can save that. All right, here we go. There you go. They painted right over it. Well, that's kind of cool. So they taped it off really, really well too. Let me throw this on the bench real quick. Yeah, I can just sit right here. So I'm excited. That's some fun. I'm not saying we're going to do it on purpose here. We'll probably leave this because they had taped it so well. I don't think I can retape it that well, or maybe I'll paint behind it. I don't know. But it does show me that if we have some places that we don't like, that are like rusty, we can kind of sand into them, get them cleaned up, stop that rust, and we might get a little of this green bleeding through. Maybe when we clean the top of this all up. It'd be kind of fun to see and kind of give it the patina look. Now, down here in the corner, let me double check. I know I'm always doing this. down there on the right side of the fender, definitely some rust that has to be addressed. These are bubbles. I mean, it's been repainted. This here in the bottom, you can see is quite crusty. Well, it's past crusty. I just put my finger through it. So we're going to come in here with we're going to get the good metal. A couple, 3-4 inches at the bottom. Maybe I'll pick a triangle up in here. We're going to patch that. The front, somebody put a new, I don't know what that pocket's called in the front. And I don't like it being a pocket because it just holds dirt. But it's an inner fender, and it's what they did to strengthen it. So we'll work on that. Not sure on your angle, but at the front of this wheel well, there's a lot of rust going on. That's one of those areas that looks like it wasn't taken care of. So we'll clean that up. We'll probably paint and blend that in. We'll have to redo this. All right, let me flip it around. Well, this light just sit in there. It obviously needs a new one. But let's check out the back, see what we got to work with. I mean, it's not horrible. I've seen worse. I think I've had worse. I'm sure of it, actually. So, again, we have the original seafoam, teal green, whatever you want to call it. Somebody painted this black, which I prefer, to tell you the truth. It looks nice when you pop the hood open and you've got things blacked out in there. If you know my videos, there's lots of black paint. It just gives it a crisp line. And then you can get in here and I can clean these all out. You can see the rust is running on that. We want to stop all that. I know you can buy new fenders, but we're going to make this one work for a while. And maybe when he gets it wrapped, he can replace it. It's up to him. We can make this work. These bottom pans, they have holes that let them drain out because they just hold so much dirt. But we'll definitely clean that all up. Coat the inside of this with that tar real good and make sure that those holes are open to allow debris and dirt, water and stuff out. You can see the weld marks here where they replaced the front. That's fine. Again, it's just a fender. So we'll get that all cleaned up and fixed up. Let's work over here for a minute. Zoom, get you zipped around. Put you here by the fire. You can stay warm while I work on this. I don't know, I'll call it a balance, but. So I'm gonna let this dry a little more. I mean, it's pretty dry. Primer dries pretty quick. I'm gonna just set that up there. These parts here, I want to take some time and just really clean this up because when you open the hood, that's right there in your face. So it's nice to have that shiny, just so people can see you took care of it. I don't know. I figure whenever you take something apart, if you have the piece in your hand and it's totally available to be painted, then why wouldn't you paint it? It's going to look nice. People are going to know you worked on it, but we're not going for that all original. Here it is. It's never been damaged, never been worked on. That's silly. There's not too many of them left in the world, I'm sure. So we'll get this scrubbed up and cleaned up real quick. I'm going to dolly that one. Now, if it's a little loud for you, I apologize. I'll get you a little closer. You'll probably be looking at my backside now. I got you so close. Get over here. I'm going to hammer and dolly that out just a touch. Then we'll clean that rust up. And we'll get you coated up with some paint. So this might be a touch loud, but we're not going to be beating in here for 10 minutes, so bear with me. All right, here you go. Headphone check warning? I don't know. We just want to take these bumps out. It doesn't really take much, and that is right back where it belongs. This one's actually the other way. Yeah, that one's quite a bit louder. And it's a little stiffer spot. And it has cups and bumps. I don't know if you can see them, but that's... Wow. Try not to make this loud for you. More than one way to skin a cat, as they say. Doesn't take much at all. It just takes a minute and is worth your time. Gives it a lot of strength. I mean, it's just that simple. Not much to it. Pretty much done. I'll go a little farther on that one. It's not very heavy metal, that's for sure. So that's pretty much what we want to do. I was curious about this. I don't know if you can tell right here. It looks like somebody knocked the paint off. I think that's about where the bumper brackets are at. So that looks like it got rolled in a little bit. We could probably hammer and dolly those two. But I think because they're so tight, I'm going to get a pair of pliers and just roll them a little first. So my pliers are right over here. I'll just grab those. Be right back with you. Never prepared for everything. I don't stage it all up. You know, one time I think I could just grab a pair of pliers. Go figure. These will work. All right. It's always these will work. It's always stuff like that. I could just save this and do it later. I should have my glasses on for that. Can you see that right there? That little rolled edge? You can. You can tell. This is finicky work. Probably doesn't even matter. Who's going to notice? But I'm here. It's on the bench. It's apart. Probably not going to be quite in this situation again. Hopefully never. We do enough rust preventative on this. It should last our lifetime. Let me get around there. That's why I like this goofy block. You just make so many different angles out of it. Just square that up a little bit. Pretty darn good. A little off that way. That's as good as it's going to get, folks. You know me. I'm picky. I want that just rolled. Who's ever going to see this? Nobody. That's how I am. That's what I do. That looks good. All right, we'll go do the other side real quick. I could flip it around here for you. Maybe I will. Do one backwards this way. Can you see that one a little better? Boy, that is rusty, isn't it? You can see that rust, that's for sure. We'll get her cleaned up. Now, this is probably stretched this metal a little, and I don't have a shrinker stretcher, generally because if something's bad enough that I need to use a shrinker stretcher, I would just replace it. I know. It's the lazy way. But most of the time, it's my opinion, when it's that bad, there's something else wrong with it too. In this case, as you see, the rust is just about to get out of control on this part. But we can definitely save that. A couple taps of the old. I'll have to use that sharp edge on this one. Man, it's just a good piece. This is an old piece of farm equipment. Worked out really well. I flattened this edge so it does have creases on both sides, but it's still rounded on this end. You could generally find something that fits in there. Again, that's, like I said, an old piece of farm equipment. You just cut it off and make her work. Well, that's pretty good. Again, why am I being so picky? Nobody's ever going to see it. Well, I don't know. Can't be much pickier than that. All right. So you guys are going to be right here with us. Maybe not the whole. Is that bent? I can't tell. Got a ball on the other side. I actually think there's a little. There is. A little. I got to adjust that. I apologize. A little more banging. All right, here we go again. Just a little roundness. Something got, I don't know, bent it. Doesn't matter what. Here we go. A little high spot right there. Should probably get my dolly on that. It's not too bad. I don't think it's going to make any difference down here anyway. That looks pretty good to me. I guess if it needs more adjustment, we'll do it later. So I got to get something to scratch that all up with. What do you think? Putty knife be a good idea? Get the majority of it off first. I got the putty knife right here. Even got a wide one, a thin one. I'll even grab a wire brush while I'm over on this side of the shop. And we'll get that thing cleaned up and ready for paint. When I wind up tonight, we can get the paint out so I ain't got to smell it while I'm in the shop. This is going to be a dirty mess, isn't it? This is all we do. We just time, take a little bit of time, clean something up, make it better than it was. Isn't that what DD's Speed Shop always says? I'm trying to learn from these professionals out there. I just do this for a hobby. I don't know nothing about nothing. Did I ever tell you guys I'm not a mechanic? Yeah, you probably figured that out by now. Or a body man for that reason. I'm definitely not a body guy. Sure, I've picked up on some. I probably know just enough to do horrible stuff. That's probably more true than that. I have done some nice work. And I've done some work. I don't know why it didn't turn out nice. I sure tried. And I think that's the problem with body work. You can try with all your might, but if you do it wrong, it just isn't going to last. I helped a friend of mine out, Steve, years ago. Oh, I don't remember. It was a four-door. God, it was an old car. Dodge of some sort. Chrysler vehicle. And we redid the body on it, and I left the rust. I just cleaned it up best I could, and if we had a spot that was rusty and had a hole or something in it, we just hammered it in so it was out of the way, and put body filler in there and cleaned it up and buffed it down nice. I'll tell you what, the year we finished it, it looked fantastic. We really did. We sanded and polished and really made it look nice. Unfortunately, I don't know, probably 10 years, about all it lasted. And he parked it in a non-heated storage unit, which I understand. Heated ones would be terribly expensive unless you have it at home. And it bubbled. Yes, he was disappointed, and so was I. And we had worked so hard on that vehicle. But we were both young and, well, fairly young and learning. Yeah, you probably won't stay through all this today. This needs a lot of scraping. I won't make you stand there and watch that. You want to see this stuff, though. I don't know what that is. Oil change oil? I don't know. Bugs, tar, dirt, leaves, hair. I don't know, there's probably a mouse in there once upon a time. Who knows? So I'll do most of that later. You know it. You don't want to watch any more of that. I thought it would go quicker than that. And the underside's going to take a whole lot longer than that. Yeah, that's going to be a couple hours here. No big deal. Well, them washers are extra. Looks pretty. All right, let's try to get that. What is that? Radiator support, core support column. Let's see if we can get that set up there. Just kind of check it out. See what we got going on and how it's going to work for us. Again, I don't know if I have all the proper rubber pieces and everything for it, but we're gonna give her a try. Just kind of make this look like a truck. I can't wait. I don't know about you. We know we got hoses to move and all that, but so these use a carriage bolt in a square block. I like it. It's so you can. I just used the wrong one. It doesn't really matter. It's over there. It's so you can get underneath the truck anytime you need to, and you could just zip it off with a wrench or something. You don't have to reach around because by the time you get this put together, it's going to be almost impossible to get a wrench in on both sides. So I'll give GM a little credit for thinking on that one. Oh, I didn't show you that stuff. See if we can get this nut on there. It looks good. You see the back of my head? I just put a nut on a bolt. Not a big deal. I got it. Do you believe that crap? What I didn't show you, that's going to look pretty nice. Let me look in the camera and see what that looks like. Oh, that's pretty cool. So while I got you right here, let me show you what I got right here. I mentioned this air conditioner to you a moment ago. Again, he can replace any of this later down the road. It's just a good time to get in here and work on it. So we lubed up the bearing, which it didn't need it. I'm not even sure it's a sealed bearing. I'm not sure I got any lube to it, but it made me feel better. But I picked up some fuel line, some wire for the fuel pump. Is that right? Fuel pump wire? I think so. If not, then the fuel gauge wire. And then we got a piece of high pressure line and a fitting just to get us around some tight areas. We're not going all metal. I don't think they make an all metal kit, and I don't think it's even necessary. But with this system being unique, you're not going to get pre-cut, pre-bent lines that just go in. It's not going to happen. So we bought the good hose clamps for the high fuel pressure. This is for EFI, of course. Well, I think that looks pretty darn good. It's starting to look like a pick-em-up truck. Okay, not really. But the exciting part, once we get here, start getting this put together where we can kind of get an idea of what we have. The next thing that shows up in the shop is going to be the cab. I'm going to bring it in on a trailer. I'm not sure. I don't have a rotisserie. Let me turn this up a touch more. I don't have a rotisserie type thing, they call them, that goes on, clamps on the cab so you can rotate it. Man, that would be nice. It's too bad you can't rent one. So it's going to come in on a trailer upright. And I'm going to see what I can do with my engine hoist, lift, crane, we're going to call it, and try and get it flipped on a side, not set on the side, of course. The doors are still on it. They shut good. I'd like to leave them on there. I don't have any luck. When a door comes off, it's just never quite the same. So I'm going to try not to remove the doors, although one of the door bottoms is going to need some work. The other one I think's okay. Again, we'll look at that when it comes in the shop. But I would like to be able to kind of rotate it up and maybe hang it sideways, so I can work on the bottom without being upside down. Ideally, you'd like it flipped right over like a desk, or what do they call those? Architect's desk. So it's kind of on that 40-degree angle or whatever it is. That would be sweet. But you're going to see a whole lot of body work on that, and you're going to see it done by a not body guy. I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to make sure it doesn't rust and it looks good. I don't know what else matters. Structural? Ain't no structural stuff to the body anyway. Well, I like how everything's fitting so far. Of course, what did I expect? This is original power steering, but that sits right in there where we'd want it. We have plenty of room. We're going to pick up some inner fender wells for this. We can start putting some things together and see what we have, what kind of fancy things we need to build. So this is where this truck starts coming together, starts getting exciting. I hope you guys come back and watch more. What else we got going on today? Any time? Not really. I'm about out of time. So before we go, I want to just quick show you and talk about the new fender. Now, this is a new fender. I don't know, RDOT. I don't know. I can't really read without my glasses. Got the stickers on it. I don't know if it's ever been on a truck. Doesn't look like it ever went down the road. Maybe that's what I should say. But it does have the bolts in it. So I almost think somebody has bolted it up one time or another. I don't know what we're going to do with this, except I know we're going to coat it really good. That doggone front pocket on this, I don't know if it's got any rust in there or not. It looks like it does. If not, it has a bunch of dirt in it. So we'll probably clean this up, and I'm thinking I'm going to prime it white. If I can get a hold of some good white primer, that's my plan. So that'll look good. It'll look kind of fitting in the truck. If not, did you see any of that? Probably not. Just listen to me talk and look, because I'm not a good camera guy. Anyhow, you see what I got. It's just a factory painted, or excuse me, a primered fender. And we'll clean it up. We'll make it white somehow. Figure it out. What would be cool is to teal seafoam green it first, then paint it white so that we can do the same peeling and, I don't know, patina stuff to it to make it fatina like the other one. I don't know. But there's my ideas. We'll talk to Tom more. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll have that cab in here next time. It'll be fun to look at. I guess I got to go. Let's see how many times I got to push this button to shut this thing off, because, yeah, my remote quit. I'm tired of it. I tried it and tried it. So I'll take you right off the tripod and say goodbye.